tied up out there, guys. I just started talking and talking. Thank God Tabitha's like, it's 9:58, get in your office. Crazy, crazy. So however, we were lucky yesterday, right? We were so lucky to get through that it wasn't a real snowstorm that came. By the time I left here, it was just like wet outside. So always thankful not to have to ride home in the snow or ice.
We've had a pretty mild winter so far.
Knock on wood, Judy.
I know. I know.
I'm not a snow person.
I get it. I am not either.
Unless it's like the weekend and you're stuck at home and you don't care. And not when you have to travel. Everybody's slow coming on this morning. Carol, did you have any luck yesterday? No.
Hey, Missy, you know what's good about these backgrounds? We can move around and nobody can tell we're moving.
Yeah, yes, right.
Because I want to make another cup of coffee and you can't tell I'm moving around my house.
Oh, true. There you
did
go,
send-
Carol. I'm sorry, we couldn't hear you.
Okay, I did send her a note, thanking her. She said it was the money, when it came right down to it, it was the money. It was the extra money. I mean, we did everything, we waived everything, we went up 10, but she said at the end, it was.
It's always the money. It's always about money in their pocket.
They didn't care about the other stuff. All they wanted, because somebody went really high. So I told her, just keep us in mind if something happens. And I said, I've been in your position before. And I said, I know it was hard for you. So, anyway, although I was.
How many offers ended up coming in?
There weren't that many. No, when it came right down to it, after she gave the guidelines and everything, there were only 6.
Oh,
She thought she was going to have so many, but when she told them what they had to do, she had a whole list of things that they would have to do, which was very good. I copied it. If you want your offer presented, you have to do this. It was a whole bunch of things. And if you didn't do that, she didn't want to present your offer. But
I'm glad you brought that up, Carol, because we talked about this at the mastermind yesterday. And I thought it was very appropriate because a lot of agents in our office who have been dealing or had deals with agents from more of like Essex County, saying that this is their practice now, and they call it a wish list. So what the listing agents are doing now when there's a multiple offer is they're putting their wish list. This is what your client needs. And the good thing about it is every buyer now is on the same page, right? Everybody has the same ability to come in with a strong offer based on that, instead of the agent telling you, but not because you asked those questions, maybe where another agent didn't ask those questions, so their buyer's not getting the same information. It's like, you want to put in an offer, you need a pre-approval letter, you need to waive your appraisal up to $10,000 or up to X is what's saying, can you fill that in based on what your buyer's willing to do? And all of the requests, because we're in such a crazy market. So I'm glad you brought that up, and I'm glad you copied that, because that's what I'm hearing a lot of agents are doing. They're actually putting that in place.
I'll make a copy of it and send it over. But it was even the deposit. They wanted the deposit within 5 days. They wanted the deposit, and they wanted it up front, not waiting, afterwards. They wanted it up front within 5 days after the attorney review. So it was a very good thing, and we did everything, but still didn't get it.
But again, like, even for you to sit with your seller, if you're representing the seller, and for you to say to your seller, listen, we are getting multiple offers, and let's go through what's most important to you, and let's mark this down, and then we can put this forward to all the buyers that are coming forth, so that we make sure that everybody understands what you're looking for, right? Isn't that seller going to be like, wow, like she's going above, he or she is going above and beyond, like that we're taking the time to do that. So I think it's really great, and we could probably do something on this another time, but I'm actually really glad you brought that up. So thank you.
Missy?
Yep.
If somebody's to waive an appraisal, let's say they waive it up to 10K, like you just said, what does that mean if they're putting down 10%? what do they have to bring to the table additionally if it underappraises?
So that's a great question too. So that's a question. So before your client can waive anything, right, they'd have to talk to their mortgage person. So, I know Anthony talks to a lot of buyers prior to them waiving their appraisal to make sure up to a certain amount, make sure that they still qualify. Okay, because just because they want to do it or they think they can do it or they have a little extra money in the bank, it may change their numbers. So that I will bring that up more when Anthony is up in a little while. But that's a great question because they can't make that decision. They have to talk to their mortgage advisor and see what they can do prior to putting it in writing that that's what they're going to do moving forward. So committing it to themselves. So.
Okay, and then the other thing is, what if it when it comes to crunch time and it underappraises, I feel like some people think that they could just back out, but probably not so easy.
So Lori,
Not
it
if
depends.
so if it underappraises, so let's say the house is 450, then they've agreed on a price of 450 and they appraise it with a $10,000 waiver. As long as it appraises for 440 or more, they have to move forward. The buyer has to move forward. If it appraises under 440, then that's where they can have a negotiation again.
Right, but if it appraises at 440, then they have to go ahead with it.
Lori,
Correct.
it depends on the attorney review language. So I just had one that underappraised by like 35,000, and the seller, the buyer was going to be putting 20% down, and the seller would not budge. And her lender was actually able to work it out because rates were so low. Instead of putting 20% down, they ended up putting, I think, like 15% down, and the lender did something buying out some of the PMI. Whatever they did, they were able to make it work where the buyer only had to come to the table with, it was like nothing, the way that they were able to do it. Because I always thought that it's like, okay, if you waive $20,000 or $30,000, that automatically means you have to have that $30,000 to be able to bring into, to the closing table. And they worked it out by putting less down, doing something with the PMI, and it was negligible and it saved the deal. So they're, like Missy said, talking to the lender, but I'd never seen that. It was crazy.
Okay, so somebody got creative and made it happen.
Exactly.
But right, but my question was, I feel like some buyers might want to just back out after they've already committed.
It's what the attorney review language is, and that's where the attorneys, tie up. Usually it'll say it has to appraise, for X, and if it doesn't, this is, what's going to happen. And if they've agreed to waive it, then it's in the contract, and they're saying that they have the money, and the lenders, say it's fine to move forward.
Got it.
Yeah. So it's spelled out for them, exactly what amount it has to appraise for, all of that's spelled out for your client in the attorney review. And I'm sure their attorneys, reviewing that language with them also before moving forward. So guys, just, this discussion that we're having now, just to give you a little idea, is what our masterminds are like on Tuesday. So again, we don't get together as we used to, right? We used to be in the office more. There used to be more people in the office. And when you had a bad day, you had people to vent to. And when you had a great day, you had people to celebrate with, or you had a question or whatever the case may be. That's what our mastermind is about. It's about keeping that sort of communication and that camaraderie going, and when each of us piping in or chiming in and answering these questions, because you guys are out there every day, so you guys have more of an idea with it just through you guys, right? So it's great for for all of us to have the expertise of every agent of every level. So I just want to share that with you, that I think just in case you're not sure what our masterminds are about, it's exactly what we're doing right now. Which is really huge. So I encourage everybody who can to come in. So I'm going to mute everybody right now. Obviously, if you have anything to say, you can unmute yourself. And I just want to share something with you real quickly. I don't know if you saw the email yesterday that Joe McDonald had picked up 4 more offices in our region. They did some redistricting, I guess, so to say. And so those offices are down south, I think as far as Old Bridge. So when the managers were introduced on our managers meeting last week, one of the managers is Christina Krupe Lyons, and she is from the Old Bridge office. She's the manager of the Old Bridge office, probably in her late 30s, early 40s. And I know Christina because I was like, I have a fun fact to share with all of you guys. Christina's mom, Debbie Krupe, who is also in the Wickard Old Bridge office, sold my husband and I our first condo in Old Bridge back in 1988, when I was 5 years old, of course. And we were getting married in 1989, and we bought it. We closed December of 1988. We bought the model unit of a condo, all redone, as you would say at the time, for $125,000, and our interest rate was 8%. And we thought that was the best interest rate ever, because at the time the interest rates were 11, 12%, but I worked for a bank at the time. And so I was able to get a reduced rate at 8. So 8% was like, amazing. And I think I've shared that with you before, my first interest rate. So just to go a little further, so that was December of 1988. In January of 1989, the market tanked. Okay. Total market drop. Of course, I wasn't in real estate. I didn't know any better. And so a year later, we realized we were too far from our families and wanted to move back. And so because now our place was no longer worth what we bought even just for a year ago, we decided to rent it out. And a few years later, when it started coming back up, we decided to sell it. And the reason I'm getting to this point is, so at that time, we had a great relationship with Debbie. She always kept in touch with us. Great, great realtor. But Foxtons was big at the time, and Foxtons had the discounted rate, right? It was 2%. You saw it all over the cars. You saw it all over the place. They drove these Foxton cars with 2%, 2%, 2%. So because we were sort of, we had taken a hit back when we first bought it, we had decided not to go with Debbie and to go with Foxtons. Yes, horrible, horrible. It still bothers me this day, especially because I'm in real estate and I know now the difference, right? So guess who sold my condo? Debbie. Debbie brought the buyer to the condo. And so ever since I've gotten into real estate, any opportunities that I get down there, I always refer to Debbie because, I'm always making up for it. And we have a great relationship. But it just goes to show, if you don't show, if as a consumer, as a buyer, as the public, all the things that we call everybody else who's not in real estate, we don't totally understand that, right? And so that's our job, to educate the buyers and sellers. And that comes from sitting down and having a consultation with them. And I really just wanted to push that forward, just because, I shared this at our managers meeting last week, and I thought it was interesting to share with you guys. We really have to be more proactive in making sure people understand exactly what we do and exactly our value and how important it is. I think if I would have known differently then, we would have made a different decision, but we didn't know differently then. So again, just wanted to share that. So welcome. So stop procrastinating and just do it. More failure has been caused by indecision than poor decisions. I see you guys constantly torturing yourself over, is your postcard, should it have this picture or that picture? Should you make phone calls today? Who should you call? When should you call? You guys complicate, and this is human nature. So when I say you guys, I don't really mean it's just you guys and the whole rest of the world is acting, is functioning differently. It's just the way we are in human nature. So we really have to just make a decision, do something. And then if it's not the right decision, we can always change. We can always adapt. That's what we're great at in real estate. So we have to stop procrastinating and just do it. We are going to be hitting February 1st on Monday already. Yes, February 1st is already here. In real estate, that's April 1st. You know that, right? We're always 2 months ahead of where we are. Whatever we're working for today is always 2 months ahead. So really, guys, I truly would ask you to think about that for a minute. When you have a decision that you're not making, and so you push off something that you need to do, just do it. And then as you're doing it, things will get clearer. You'll make a poor choice. We all make poor choices, and that's what we learn from, and that's how we move forward. So weekly call sessions, huge, are important. I mean, last night's was such a great dialogue one. It started at 4:00, and they were talking about FSBO calls, and one of the RVPs, Jim Madel, got on, and he made a call to someone who obviously had a lot of objections, but Jim knew how to just get it along. It was a live call. It was not staged. I mean, I think these are all important things for all of us to know. We have to make our market today. Okay. We cannot sit around and wait. The inventory is excruciatingly low, and it's not going to change for the next year, okay? So you can't sit around and hope that more inventory is going to come on for all the buyers that you're working with. You know, you have to get out there and you have to make your own market. You have to determine your success for the rest of the year. And you can do that. We have the tools, we have the resources, we have the support, but you need to just take the time, one of these call sessions a week, put it in there, focus, and don't do anything else. And if you're not sure what a call session is about, just get on there without your microphone on, without your video on, and make sure that you are doing what you need to do, and just listen to what they're doing and what they're saying and get comfortable with it first for a few weeks before you start making your calls. No one has to listen to you. That's at your own comfort level. Okay, so commit to one call session a week. Start out by just joining and listening, see what it's all about. We've had great success stories each week on there. Lots of agents who are getting a lot of success. And guess what? They're mostly newer agents, right? Because they don't already have preconceived notions in their mind about making calls and who to call, and I'm afraid to call, you know, they just do it. So again, we have to just get out there and do it, because this market is not going to get any easier as the year goes on. So we have a guest today from Wicker Property Management. She's just going to share a few things, about 5 minutes with us in reference to property management now. I don't know if you guys are aware, but right before our shutdown last year, Wicker Property Management was taken over by a new president, Sherry Beauregard, and she is awesome. I worked with her with new construction. And so she had taken over, and so new things have happened. It's not the same property management that you knew in the past. So, you know, I'll let Judy speak to that and just give her a few minutes to share with you what's new in property management. So welcome,
Okay.
Judy.
Thank you, Missy. Yes, my name is Judy Giordano, and I will be your contact for all your Weicker property management needs. As you all know, we have a property management division. Actually, this will be another tool in your toolbox for when you go on a rental listing presentation. I'm going to ask you to please mention to your owners how we can help them insulate communication between them and their tenants. So just a little background information. I don't know if you've heard this before, but our headquarters is in Morris Plains, and we also have satellite offices in the capital region. We also have offices all across the United States through our relocation division. But we deal with residential, small commercial, and relocation properties. Next, if you could click, okay. Here are a few things that I just want to remind you about what we do. Each of our homeowners will have an online portal account, and also the tenants in which to pay their rent. We don't take any more paper checks unless it's somebody who has absolutely no experience with computers. So we also have 24 hours, 7-day a week emergency call hotline to answer all questions from the owner or the tenant. We process work orders, collect the rent, and we can also pay bills for the homeowner, such as their mortgage, their insurance, their, I guess, any other bills that they would have, their water bill and so forth. So I want to introduce a new program to you for absentee owners. Do any of you have any people that you're working with or that you know that leave their homes for maybe 5 months, 6 months, go down to Florida, leave on vacation, or just live somewhere else for several months? Do any of you have people like that that you know? Okay, I guess maybe not. Well, I just want to offer this to you. If you do know someone who has a property that they leave for several months, say they're snowbirds and they go down to Florida, we can actually manage that program, or their home, I should say, for them. It'll cost them a setup fee of $200. And as you can see on the slide, they can choose how many times they want us to go and check and do a walkthrough. This would actually give those homeowners peace of mind, and you don't have to go. So if they ask you to check that property for them, that could be a problem, because then you're responsible for any damage that has occurred while they were out of the home. And I just have to tell you, your errors and omissions will not cover that.
Interesting.
Any questions on that?
I'm gonna
and as
sign Peter Lee up though. One of my agents, Peter Lee, wants to be a snowbird, so we're gonna get him on this program as soon as that happens.
Fantastic,
Mhm.
fantastic. I also want to remind you that, and I know this happens, a homeowner will say, could you manage my property while I'm not there? Say they move out of state. I know they ask agents to do this. Again, you're not going to be covered by your E&O. I just want to let you know that that could be a major liability issue for you. So I want you to feel free to call me. My number's on the screen. And Missy, I will send my business cards to your office so that you can have them on hand in case anybody needs to reach me. Do any of you have any questions?
Yeah, I do. Judy?
Okay,
Judy?
and you
I
are,
think mine,
okay.
I'm Dennis Cassidy.
Hi, Dennis, nice to meet you.
Okay, how you doing?
I'm
Let
doing
me start
well,
my video.
knock on wood.
Anyway, I
So
mean,
how can I help you?
my concern would be, no, I think it's great. I have people who leave their home for the winter,
Okay,
4 months. And I don't know who they have taking care of their home, but I think I think that's a great service, but what kind of people I know the people that you have, they're probably more concerned about who's coming in their house every week to check what kind of person they are.
they are our property
Yeah.
managers.
I mean, me, if I once want to watch my house, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
we have
I mean, their
we have a
background,
basic,
you know.
yeah, Dennis, we have a basic checklist that our property managers will follow. They'll walk through the home, they'll check on the heating. If they're leaving in the summer, we'll check on their air conditioning. We'll make sure that the property
I'm
is
not
in good.
talking about, I'm not talking about that, Judy. I'm not talking, I understand the types that we hire.
You want to know who's walking, who's entering the house? Is it you who's
Yeah,
going in,
background
Judy?
checks.
No,
Right,
it
like,
wouldn't. It would be the property managers. I'm in business
No, I know it's
development.
not Judy.
oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, I do not go
Right.
out and check the properties, Dennis.
I
I'm
know
in the
that.
business.
I know that.
Yes,
Right. I'm talking about the people you hire to do it. Are they
I don't do the
responsible?
hiring. Well,
Oh.
I don't do the hiring personally. That would be up to Sherry and her team,
Okay.
who is the president. But I can assure you that all of our property managers have been well vetted and well experienced.
That's
Yeah.
what I'm talking
Yep,
about.
Yes,
that's
have,
you.
That's what
have no
people be
fear.
concerned
Yeah,
about. Okay.
great.
Jody, I sent you a bunch of messages. I'll send you my email.
Okay, Eric. Please do. Send me your email and your questions. Do you want
Anyone
to bring your
else?
question? Do you want to bring your questions up to the office, or you want to just do it one-on-one?
Well, for property management, what is your pricing structure? Is it flat fee percentage or hybrid?
I think
No,
it's
it would-
shared on this slide we have right here.
No, I mean for commercial rentals, not for the peace of mind. I'm talking for the actual property management.
Okay, it all depends on the property, Eric.
So you'll work with the owners to figure out the best plan.
Yes, yes.
Okay, good.
So if you have anyone who's interested in property management, I would always encourage them to call me. And also, you give me that referral because you'll get $200 from Weicker Property Management if they go to a contract with us. So that's good news.
Well, I've done a lot of property management, and I still, you know, we need to talk, I guess,
Yeah,
offline.
yeah, I
Yeah.
think, right. I think you guys should
Eric?
have a conversation.
Take my number down
Okay,
and give
I
me a
have it for the
call.
slide.
Yeah, please call me. I'm available all the time.
Thank you.
Even on the weekends I get called, so have no fear. Get a hold of me.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Does anyone else have a question for me? Well, I'm glad that you had some questions. And I thank you all for your time. Thank you, Missy. It was a
Thank you,
pleasure.
Judy. Thank you for coming on. I appreciate you taking the time.
Okay, I'm off.
All right. So that was very good information, especially about people who have their houses vacant for 4 months, because then that runs also into an insurance issue, right? Insurance companies will not cover you if your pipes break and you haven't been in your home for more than 30 days. So great opportunity for you to share with your clients of people who you know, maybe even people that you know just leave. Doesn't have to be someone who you're presently working with. So
What about houses? Sorry.
huh?
What about houses we're listing in this weekend?
Yes, that too. That's main, right? That would be the main thing you think about, but there's also people that you know who just leave, whose houses aren't on the market, that you can still pass on that information to. So both ways, it could help you and your clients. So again, being, you know, everything all under one roof, being able to navigate the process with them and be able to be in control with having a team of support behind you to do every piece, facilitate every piece is huge in this business. So our birthdays, Kristen Mueller,
No, I guess not.
Mallory Doherty, and Jan Nichols. Anniversaries, Michael and Priscilla Elms and Lori Young all have been here 1 year. Gosh, time goes quickly. So happy anniversary, guys. And also Mark Farley, 13 years. So I don't know if you've seen this, but our title reps, Megan and Ashley, were honored for 2020 for the highest market share award in Weichert. So, you know, they do an unbelievable job. Like I mentioned last week, Weichert Title does only do wire transfers, which is huge, especially in our, you know, in this environment. You know, you don't have to wait for a check to come in. You don't have to go pick up a check. The proceeds are wired within 24 hours. So, I mean, that to me, it is, you know, a benefit alone, that we're not waiting long for our commission to come in, and we don't have to worry about checks and then have checks canceled when they don't come in properly. You know, it's always a mess when we work with checks. So love that we're doing wire transfers, and love Megan and Ashley. They do an unbelievable job for our office. Always reach out to them if you have any questions. So I just wanted to share some funny things with you. I thought it would be nice to add some things. You know, in our business, we always say you just can't make this stuff up, nor do we want to, right? The things we see, the things people say, the things people do, just can't believe it. So Jersey Shore, their party pad is up for rent this summer. So you can spend time at the Seaside Resort for $1,500 a night. So Jersey Shore first aired in 2009 and was brought back for revival in 2008 for Jersey Shore Family Vacation. Now, I know.
Missy, do they pay you or you pay them?
Well, that's a great question, Jeff. I was just going to say, if you're my age or older, you're like, who in God's name? I don't even want to look at them in this picture, right? Like, I can't even bear it. But, you know, I know, like, there's still people who, in the younger group, who will just like keep it in the background all day long because they just love all this crazy crap. But
Sorry.
No, I agree with you 150%, Jeff, 150%. Just thought it was.
Jeff, you just booked a week. Who are you kidding?
I booked a week. Yes, a week. Yeah. So anyway, I just thought it was a fun fact to share, right? Because it's right here in our backyard. It's how the rest of the world judges us, right? Between the Sopranos and Jersey Shore, everybody thinks we're Italian and that we're part of the mafia, right? If you go anywhere, that's what they assume is happening here in New Jersey. So then I thought this was very interesting. Maybe all of you don't remember Lizzie Borden. Took an axe and gave her mother 40 whacks. When she saw what she had done, she gave her father 41. So this happened early in the early on, this was in the 1800s when Lizzie Borden was accused, right, of killing her parents. I think she was found not guilty afterwards. But anyway, the home where Lizzie's parents were slain is now a popular B&B. And it's obviously it's popular because of the fact that they're able to bring in all the gruesome facts and haunting and all that stuff that people love. And it is now available. It's on the market right now for $2 million as a B&B, Airbnb in Massachusetts. So anybody interested?
Celebrity home.
Everybody interested? Yes, reach out to what we can figure out how we can get you in there. And then on a more serious note, November home prices were 9.5%, rose 9.5%, one of the highest gains on record. So I think that's really, really important, again, to share with your clients. I know I helped out someone with their buyer this week because they had multiple offers. And I hear you guys coming in all the time saying, I can't believe my client is still coming in $10,000 under when there's 10 offers on the property. So, maybe some of these articles and informational pieces can help them maybe understand that, getting the home at asking is a deal today. But most likely that's not even going to happen. Right? So they have to really be prepared, and maybe they should be looking at a lower price point so they have room for negotiation if they have to go up. So with that, I want to just share with you, because these total amount of actives in each town is just unbelievable. I mean, Parsippany 55 and 44 went under contract in the past 30 days. Hanover 15, East Hanover 14, Denville 30, I got in the business in 2006. I got into a business similar to this. But I can remember at the heights, or at the, when inventory was at its highest, towns like Parsippany would be up to 200 homes in this time of the year as we started creeping into the spring market. I mean, these numbers are incredibly, incredibly low. Randolph at 30, that was my place, right? So that's where I'm always bringing back to. It's more relevant to me. 160 to 180. Once you hit April, 30, and then 23 went under contract in the past 30 days. Montville 33 are active, and 27 went under the contract in past 30 days. These numbers are incredible, and they're not going to change. Maybe you might get a few more homes on the market once the April, the spring market hits, but there's still so many buyers out there. Each agent is probably working with a minimum of 10 buyers, right? That
If I could just add something about the Booton number, there's 15 active units, but only 10 of them do not have offers. So five of those.
So 5 are already in attorney review. They already have an asterisk.
Yeah.
Very interesting. So there you go. So already 10 of them have an asterisk by them, right? So this is the market, guys. This is where we're at. So we really have to be more proactive. Are you making one call at least a day, or adding a call on? Like, what are you doing to make sure that you're going to have a successful year ahead? What are you doing proactively? We really have to be proactive in this market. So I just want to share with you an open house that I saw this past weekend on my Instagram account. And though it's not a Weikert one, I just thought it was very impressive, not only because of the amount of people standing outside in the freezing bitter cold this weekend, but also because of the amount of signage they put out, right? They really made it an experience. And I actually spoke to an agent this week who was standing out there for an hour with their client, and told me that when they finally got in, that it was managed so well. So this wasn't an agent who just haphazardly on Sunday go, oh, I need to find signs. I have people calling me late Saturday night, early Sunday morning, asking me for open house signs. Is there any open house signs? Where do I get the open house signs? That's not preparation, guys. That's not managing your time for an open house. You need to have these things in place, at least know ahead of time by the end of the week where we're going to put them for you. Doing things the last minute is not cool, especially when it comes to an open house. They're so important. So you have to make sure that you're preparing for your open house, and you should be trying to do everything you can. So anyway, she goes into this open house. There's the listing agent and 3 other agents there to assist in walking people around. So everything was done really, really proactively. And so it ran, and so they went outside an hour with a open house that was managed properly, right? That had put all the pieces in place ahead of time. See all these signs out there? EXP did not give them the signs. They bought the signs. They invested in themselves to make an experience, right? So these are things that we really have to be aware of, and we really have to be more proactive. More and more people get businesses from open houses. So I'm going to share with you another story today. Today's story day. And this one is close to home. So my son has his first closing today. He got his license in the first week of October. He has his first closing today. And yes, Anthony's the mortgage guy, Amanda Mulvaney, so title, and Bobby's his client's insurance. He did his first open house the second week of October and obtained 2 buyers. The buyers he's closing with today, guess what they said to him, guys, when he came in? I'm already working with an agent, right? So this is what I hear from you guys. Everybody's working with an agent. Nobody's on a line. I can't get anybody from an open house. So that day he came home from that open house. He had 10 people through. 2 were working with agents. The other one he's closing in May. Okay. They was just pushed back because of they were a renter. And so they're not getting out until June. So what I'm saying to you is, these open houses are huge, okay? And you really need to be making sure you're doing at least 1 a month. I know there's a shortage now. I know there's very few, but we put out a house on a Friday and nobody responds out of all the agents we have. I mean, that's really sad. We really need to be doing what we need to do to get the business for upcoming, okay? So he came home on Sunday. I said, you have to call every single person that came through, agents, everybody. You call everybody that came through that day, today, and you do it now. You don't wait until later, and you don't email them, you don't text them, you make a phone call. And so that's what he did. Then on his own, he went in and put everybody into his My White Card and put them up on the campaign. And so I know Anthony can share more because he's dealt with the clients. I haven't, but he's spoken to these clients that are closing today. And the first thing they said to him was, and this was the ones that had somebody, you know what we liked about him? He was aggressive. He got in contact with us right away. Nobody else ever called us after an open house. And because of the My White Card following up with them until Wednesday with on the campaign is why they called him that Wednesday, and then they ended up finding a house. So again, we have to be more proactive in doing the things we're supposed to be doing, and we have to stop making excuses, and we have to stop putting, the difference between a new agent and a seasoned agent is we already have all these mindsets, right? We already have these preconceived notions in our head that open houses don't work, and this doesn't work, and that doesn't work, and everybody has a agent, and so on and so forth. And the difference between, oh, we can't pass them on to Anthony because they already have somebody, and we don't want to scare them. Well, guess what? These people had somebody already. They were working with a mortgage person, right? But they didn't even know all the information they needed to know because they didn't have the right mortgage person. So again, everything that we do is in our head. We make up how our year is going to go. We wake up our success. Okay. We decide when we walk into a place based on the negativity that we already have in our mind, how that's going to go. Or we can just clear our heads and say, listen, I take a deep breath. I don't care what happened before today. I'm going to go forward, moving my business, and I'm going to know that this open house, I'm going to try everything I can. I'm taking time away from my family, friends, whatever it is. I'm going to make sure I do everything right because this is part of my business and this is something that people are going to see, right? Don't you think anybody standing in this line is going to be impressed by how many signs that were out there and how well they managed the open house when you got in there? Huge. So that's why I thought it was really important to share with you guys.
Hi,
These
Missy.
people, oh, go
Yes,
ahead.
Missy, can I add something?
absolutely, Terry.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I think it's just a matter of we need to go back to some of the basics. When I started a million years ago, Carol Polk hired me, so it's her fault I'm here.
Damn you, Carol.
But there was a very strong mentorship program because we all have questions when we're first starting out. I don't see any of that happening anymore. When I'm in the office, if someone says, can I ask you a question? Of course I say yes. But I'm amazed at some of the basic things that a lot of our people don't know. And I'm just saying, what happened to mentorship? Because I think that's very important for guidance. That's all.
So I truly appreciate that. And that's actually an excellent statement. So we still have mentorship. What we don't have is, when people here, when we're hiring new people and, everybody's excited, everybody's saying, I'm going to do everything you say, I'm going to do everything you say. And then, they join trainings, we set up accountability for every week or every 2 weeks or once a month. And then they slowly, I don't know if the business gets to them or who gets to them, but after a while it starts, we start getting, like our training attendance is really, really low.
Yeah,
So
but I think they decided that they don't need a mentor
Yes,
because they
yes.
don't want to have to pay, the percentage for
Ding,
the
ding,
first
ding,
couple
ding.
of.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
You
Yep.
know, it's always about money, and then they're working another job or something like that. I find it sad because they missed out on the foundation, the basics. And if you don't have that, you can't improve yourself and move forward. Just me. That's how I think about it.
I love it.
Because
I love it.
anybody that I mentored, I mean, I ended up having a good relationship with them. And, as evidenced by just last year, one of my former mentees, called me and listed his house with me because he said, you always gave me good information and I trust you. So I don't know what else to say other than, you show up at the office and when you hear the kind of questions being asked, it's just a little surprising to me.
Mm-hmm.
And I think maybe they need to be told. I think when they did away with that fast track, I think they lost a lot in that respect too, with building.
Well, they do have an
foundation.
accelerate program, but again, then they have to motivate themselves to be on it. And that's where the problem occurs, right? It's not mandatory anymore like that fast track program was. And we have great mentors in this office. We have yourself, we have Vin, we have Carol, Bob Falzarano. Like we have really, really great mentors in this office. And we always partner up people based on, different needs and, just by sitting with them what they need. But again, it's a two-way street. Our mentors are always there and available. We just have to get the agents more engaged. And that's where I feel like there's a disconnect. And you're right. People are always willing to jump over dimes to pick up pennies because they only see a money amount in their mind. They don't see all the benefit and the value of partnering with someone. And this business, you can't learn unless you're out in the trenches. There's no way to pick up a book and learn real estate, right? You can't. You have to be there in the business doing it, getting transactions. So I truly appreciate that, Terry. And I think that's something that we should work on. And also on that note, Terry, I just want to bring up, Terry brought up a good thing to me, a good idea to me a few weeks ago. So I'm going to implement it in our meetings moving forward. I'm going to have agents just give a 5-minute tip. So an agent each week will give a 5-minute tip on some of their success. So it's one thing, 5 minutes, real quick. Hopefully that'll help the agents move forward with different things that they're struggling with. So thanks again, Terry, for your input. I always appreciate it. So I just want to go over some housekeeping. Take pride in our office. I walk into the office on a Monday morning. The door is unlocked. The conference rooms are like everything's all over the place, paper all over the front desk, no paper in the printer. I mean, this is our office. This is our home away from home, so to say. So when you come in here, treat it that way. Don't print out 500 papers and leave them in the printer and then you never come and take them again. I can guarantee you in my other office, when you had to put a code in and you paid for each copy that you printed, you would not be making copies and then leaving them here. Okay, I find so much color copies sitting around that people never ever pick up again. I don't know if you get distracted. I don't know what happens, but you have to really, this is our office. You don't want things to be taken away from us because then you'll complain that things are taken away but there's reasons why. And that to me, when I see paper left all over, is just disrespect. It's total disrespect. That's number one. Number two, clean up after yourself. If you're in a conference room, take a wipe and wipe everything down prior to you going in and when you come out. I'm constantly wiping things down in here because I never see anybody. I see you wipe down if you're going, whatever you're using, but when you have clients coming in or stuff, nothing. Chairs are pushed out, pens are all over the place. So I think we really need to take a look back when we're leaving and make sure that we're taking pride in our office because we don't know who the next person is going to walk in and see what we left behind. Especially with the printers. If you lose the last piece of paper, please make sure you're filling it up for the next person. Please make sure the front door is locked, especially on the weekend. I don't know who unlocked the door this weekend, but they never locked it. And a lot of agents don't even know how to lock the door or unlock the door. So a real quick thing, when you're in here, if you do not know how to use the door, I will gladly show you real quickly, myself or Stephanie or Silvana. But there is a little key hanging right next to the door in the vestibule between the two doors. It's a little pin. You stick it in. To lock it, it should be ejected. And to open it, you stick the pin in and you push it in and it should stay like that. Okay, so that's how you unlock the door and lock the door. But again, if someone was to go through your files or you weren't to find something on a Monday, you'd be really, really upset, right? That someone was going around, sneaking around the office or whatever happened. So please, please, when you leave, just make sure, turn around, push the door in, make sure it's locked before you leave the door. During the week, obviously, when we're here, we're making sure it's open and locked, but nobody's doing that on the weekend. And then my favorite is it's the last week of the month. So you guys got to hand in your business, please. So last year we did 49 units in the month of January. Right now, we're up to, as of yesterday, I should say, we're up to 43 units. But unfortunately, Weichert has added on a lot more units. So because we had such a great year last year, they have us for 76 units for this month. So I'm thinking with, the next few days left, we may not get there, but I would like to actually exceed our 49 units of last year. So if you have anything in attorney review, any paperwork signed, any listings you haven't turned in, please, please do that by the end of the week. And don't wait till the last minute so that Silvana's putting in 500 things, at 3:55 on Friday. That's really not nice. Make sure you're going through your paperwork today, tomorrow, and getting it in, please. And last thing is 1099s will be available by February 1st. If they weren't put in yet, I didn't see as far as yesterday. And don't forget your history report. Remember, in Money Matters, you can get a history report. It's something you need to be providing to your accountant. Okay, it shows anything that was deducted, so it gives you a net gross commission based on anything that was deducted during the year. Okay, so I want to remind everybody of that. And then Operation Keep It In-House. So I know a lot of you have heard Carlo talking about this in his meetings, and Joe McDonald when he came on. Really, we are salespeople. We need to hunt and hold, right? Instead of taking it and then pushing it out there so quickly. So we are in the sales business. We do not get paid unless we go to closing, right? We have a product. Why give it to someone else to sell? So what I'm saying is, if you have a property that is coming on, or something that, get it out there, market it for yourself. Right now, it's very, very difficult, right, to get listings or, to get your buyer in on a listing. So why are we just putting it on just MLS, letting everybody else come in and grab it when we have not only ourselves, but we have, our family right here and our team in Weichert that can assist us in getting that house sold. A lot of people still, I can tell you, I've heard this over and over again, a lot of sellers would rather just get a good offer in than have 100 people through their house during this time. So again, have that conversation with your seller. Maybe hold it for a few days before putting it on the market. I'm not saying hold it for a month or 2 weeks. I'm saying just give yourself a little time to get it marketed properly and for you to get your name out and get your product out there. Because
how do you do that though? Like, how do you do that?
Well, you sign an exclusive, right? Even with the GSMLS listing.
What do you say to them? Like, what do you say to them? I mean, I know about the exclusive, but what do you say to them? Why is this a good idea for them?
Why is it an idea for your clients? I'm talking about clients who don't want a million people through their home, and they're pushing back, right? That are saying, I don't want to have an open house. I don't want people walking through. I don't want. So that's how you're going to say, well, I have a group, I can either bring some of my buyers through. I'll do it within a certain time frame. We're always just pushing it right out there without even knowing what our sellers' needs are.
But on an exclusive, we can't put it on. It doesn't. The only place that it appears is Weichert, right? It won't go on any other website, right?
No, it doesn't even go on Weichert, because Weichert is a public-facing website. So you could only post it on social media, and and calling people. You can do it the old-fashioned way, getting back to basics and making phone calls, reaching out to people sharing with us if it's coming, on our weekly meeting.
You could also say you're building the anticipation by holding it off for a week or two, that with the lack of properties for sale in the area, that by putting this on exclusive, you're building the anticipation for 2 weeks from now when you do a public open house.
Right, right.
Yeah, I get that, and most of us know about our listings way before we put them on. So of course
Exactly.
we all love to sell it ourselves or to somebody we know, but it's also about how do you really build that anticipation? It's nice to say, oh, I'm going to build the anticipation, but if I can't market it anywhere, I thought you're really not allowed to put it on anywhere.
Because GSMLS is not cooperating with NAR's clear cooperation policy. Because they are not, because they're publicly owned, we can still market things here, right, in our little area of the world, right, in our little area of northern New Jersey. But you can't, and if you're in NJMLS or if you're in Hudson or you're CJMLS or Monmouth, they are all cooperating. So you could not market that property publicly, you know, as an exclusive. But even Jen, if you know, when you put on an when you get a listing, if you get it on a Friday, you have 24 hours to put that listing into GSMLS, right? So if you have Garden State listing paperwork on a Friday signed, and you have until Monday to put it on. So you have that weekend to do an open house, to publicly market it, because really you have a GSMLS listing signed. You understand? It's not exclusive. So that's what I'm saying, doing more of that stuff, like just getting it out there that weekend. You go doing an open house, you putting signs out there, getting, you know, putting it out there on social media and things like that, and grabbing people in. Because people are always driving around neighborhoods, you know, maybe they're visiting another open house, and then it hits the market on Monday. Like, why not take advantage of that and getting people in? I feel like if we get on a Friday, we're pushing it out as quickly as possible so that it's on every website, and, you know, and then we're overwhelmed with all these buyers that come in, or clients that come in, or agents that come in, and we're not taking advantage of it. And I just feel we need to stop and take a look at what we have, because it is so sparse this year. So I'd be happy to sit with anybody to talk about that. If you want to put together a strategy, yes, if you want to put together a strategy, I would love to do that.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. I would love to. I think that is good. Like add maybe a for sale sign sooner, Facebook marketing, online, social media sooner, and then I guess calling.
Absolutely, absolutely. And reach out to anyone, which is my last note here. Reach out to anyone you sold to in the past 3 to 7 years and let them know about this market. You know, reach out and say, hey, I just want you to know. You're not sure if you know, I know you just bought 3 years ago. I know you just bought a few years ago, but, you know, we're in such a great market. You don't know what their plans are, you know, especially with the COVID and what's gone on in the past year. You know, maybe they need something bigger now. Maybe they didn't realize it. So again, you want to be the one that they are, you know, you want to be the one that reaches out to them. So make sure you're taking advantage of that too. If you have past clients, it's always a friendly call to reach out to them, because they're going to ask you how the market is, right? That's organic. That's an organic question that comes out naturally. Just make sure you have the right answers for them, and that, you know, you have them, you're keeping in touch with them and having a conversation.
Missy, I have a question, because after we go through this and tell them what the market is like and how we could get them the highest and the best price for their home, how are we going to convince them that we're going to find a house for them when the inventory is so low?
That's a great question, Virginia.
Well, this is what's on my mind, because I've already had people ask me that.
So,
And
I mean,
it's not easy.
Buyers are more flexible these days, right? So they'll find, if they find the house that they want, they will do everything they can to get that offer, right? So again, when we talked about earlier, the wish list or the requirements that were sent, you know, as a listing agent. So when you're sending out these requirements, when you're getting multiple offers in on their house, it may be that the seller has to find suitable housing. You know what I'm saying? So that they have to be flexible with their closing date because of the current market. So that would be one thing, right, that you can put in there. And again, if there's, you know, we're seeing people just throw money to the wind these days, right? We saw a house that went on this past weekend, 15 offers, and 75,000 over asking, and a $500,000 price point, waiving everything. I think they gave their firstborn too away. Like literally, that's what these buyers are doing after they've been hurt so many times, right? So they've been through I'm sure this particular buyer lost out on many, many, many houses for them to get to that point. So again, that's what you would have to do. You would have to put in, because you want, obviously, it's going to be more beneficial for them to have a house under contract when they're going to put an offer in on the house that they want versus their house isn't even on the market. So making that as part of the wish list that we spoke about is that the seller needs to find suitable housing. That's what I would suggest, that you can do that for them. That's something that they can ask for, that they'll have the upper hand because we are in the seller's market.
I'd like to just say something about the housing. Single family housing is going to be very hard to come by because in most of these towns around here, they're not building single family housing anymore. If you look in the Daily Record this morning, it gives Parsippany, and there's thousands of condos that are going to be built. In Hanover Township, I think we have six spots that they're going to be doing condos. They're not building houses anymore. So I think we're going to have to start, not training, but start telling our buyers that maybe condos are the way to go, not the single family house. Everybody wants a single family house. They're not going to be able to get it. Single family prices are going to go up so high because they're a premium, especially like in Hanover Township. We don't have any more room for no developments. Whatever we have is going to be condos. And I think that's going to be the future. Either they're going to buy a condo or they're going to be a rental. It's going to be a rental.
Yep. And that's actually, you're absolutely right. We hear about the one going up behind us that Waker is going to be building. I heard of another one on Route 10. I guess that's the one maybe in Hanover that you're referring to. That's coming up. So all these rental and condo buildings are being built now. And she's right. Where is there land to build single family houses? They're few and far between. Supply and demand, right? That's what drives the prices up. That's what drives everything. So thank you for sharing that, Carol, because I think that's really important, a conversation to have with people. Going to pay a premium for a house right now. Is that what they want to do? Or can they fit into a townhome or a condo, development? Would that suit their needs? So a lot of good information today. Just wanted to share real quickly, these are the new virtual backgrounds. As you can see, I'm using mine today. I am in the office, but I am using my new virtual background. They were sent in an email this week. All you do is you download it into your computer and you upload it into Zoom. So if you're doing buyers or sellers consultations, it makes it a little bit more professional, right? Maybe you don't have a nice back wherever you're sitting, you don't want people to see your home. I don't know, whatever the case may be. Here you have a choice of different backgrounds.
Missy?
Yep.
How do you download it? I mean, not download it. How do you get it on your Zoom? Like, where do you go onto Zoom?
You go into the video. So where it says video, there's a little arrow that goes down, right? Next to the video on the bottom. So it says it has your microphone and a little arrow, video and a little arrow, right? Do you all have that?
I don't know. I don't see where it says video.
Where's your video?
Hit the arrow on the bottom left. It says
Yeah, so
mute
it's this little
and stop
black
video.
bar. The little black bar that comes up.
Hit the arrow, and then it says choose virtual background.
Yes, and then you could you hit the plus button.
I see.
Yep,
okay.
And you add it. Yep, it's very easy to do. I did all of these last night just so I could talk about it intelligently today. That it was an easy thing to do. So.
And where do you find the background?
They
see all the way on the bottom. It says
no. I know where it is on there, but where do we get? How do we
download it? They sent an email this week. I'll share it with you. I'll forward it to you guys. It had 5 different backgrounds embedded into the email. And it says it's download under each one.
I didn't get the email either.
Okay,
yeah, I got the email this week.
I'll share.
I don't remember who it's from though.
It's from Wykert News or something.
Oh, right.
And it started off about it. I don't know that it was clear that these were on the email because it started out with requirements when you're doing a virtual meeting. So it started out with that, and then if you scroll down, then you would see all of these things. So I will share that with you when I do my meeting slide. That's why I wanted to bring it up today, just to make sure everybody knew and was aware that we had these available to us. So Stephanie, I know I've been talking a long time today.
Good morning. I don't have a whole lot. If you just want to go to the, my slides here are just about Cole Realty Resource. I'm not going to go into great detail, and I actually can't see it because it's very, very blurry.
Very blurry.
Missy is very blurry. We can't even read it.
Oh.
It's not even legible. It looks like a different
I don't
language.
remember what I had to do last time to do that.
Maybe unshare and reshare. Unshare your screen and then reshare it. Maybe that will help. Stop share, yeah, and then start the share again. There you go. Okay, that's better. Thank you. So those others, a few slides that Missy went over, they'll just be part of Missy's slides when she sends them out. Sorry, I'm a little bit froggy this morning. And they're just about Cole Realty, about how to download lists. And it really speaks to what Missy was just going over about trying to get buyers and trying to get, just trying to get clients in general. This is a free service for us, the Cole Realty resource. It's a really, it's actually a lot easier than I thought it was. But the few slides before this kind of goes step by step. If you guys need any help, feel free to reach out to me or stop in, whatever you want. So on the subject of Cole Realty, this came up on actually my MTS call last week. There's this agent, he's a new agent working in the Upper Montclair office. It's a smaller office, it's about 55 agents. He's also new to real estate. He actually got his license at the end of 2019. So he's only been in the game for about a year. What he's been doing, because he didn't have a database of people, he's been downloading lists from Cole with his MTS's help for the past year. And he has about 80,000 contacts in his CRM. What he does is he does a very simple email marketing. He sets people up on search alerts, which I've gone over a couple of times. I can go over it again. And he just blasts them out, on a regular basis. He's actually obtained 7 listing appointments in 1 year, which is pretty good if you don't have a book of business. And now he currently has 3 active listings on MLS and a couple of rentals as well. So he's killing it. He's killing it. So I just wanted to bring that up because it does work. It takes a few minutes to do these things. But once you start doing it, it gets a little bit easier and you can actually schedule out posts, schedule out emails and whatnot. So it becomes a little bit easier once you have the contacts in there. It's just the mundane getting the contacts in there. That's the time consuming part. And just as a note, at this point, there is no limit on the amount of contacts we're allowed to download from Cole, and it is free. I think Weichert pays for it for all the agents. So unfortunately, I have some negative in this regard because the Upper Montclair office is killing it overall with my Weichert usage. There's really no easy way for me to say it. So I'm just going to kind of give you the basic numbers. They rolled out my Weichert in March of 2020, so right before COVID. And they have 72% of their agents have logged in since their rollout. So in less than a year, 72% of their agents have logged in. 45% of their agents have engaged with contacts. So an engagement is an email, a phone call, or a text message using my Weichert, 45%. And again, these numbers reflect since their rollout in March 2020. Our office, Morris Plains Corporate Headquarters Sales Office, is 4th to last on the list of all offices. We rolled out 6 months before most of the rest of the company. We rolled out in October of 2019, and we only have 62% of our agents logging in to my Weichert since October of 2019. So in 15 months, we only have 62%. And then for only 14%, and this is a really just scary number to look at, only 14% of our agents engage with contacts in my Weichert, compared to 45% of the Upper Montclair office. It's the numbers are, if you put them next to each other, they don't look so bad, but considering we have 6 months on most of the rest of the company, we need to work on it. So tell me what I can do. Tell me how I can help you. Tell me what more Missy and I can do to get you involved with this program. Reach out to me and tell me you just hate the program. I'll show you the benefits of it. I'll show you a way for you to like it. Tell me what I can do, and I'll do it. Let me know.
Stephanie, I have a question. In our office, I know I don't go into it. I know I don't go into it, but comparing the two offices, is it maybe that where our office has more older and more senior people, and that's why we're not going in, and maybe the other office has younger people who are just starting and then they get on the program right away?
I don't know what their population is, to be honest. I have no idea what their population is. And, that's, I'm trying to simplify it as much as possible. Like, pick out specific pieces that this quote unquote senior population of our office can utilize. Maybe not some of the more technical things that maybe a younger person might understand first, but I think it's an excuse, let's work on it. If it is a mental block, maybe sit down with me, maybe we can break through those barriers and figure out a way. If you're totally against it, I'm not going to not like you because of it, but because it is what it is. It's here. This is the future. This is the future, not just of Weicker, of like every industry that you're looking at has some sort of CRM, has some sort of bridge between Facebook and the rest of the, marketing that you're doing. Every single industry, it's not just real estate, it's everything. So, I don't know how to speak to that directly, but let's not make excuses. Let's try to figure a way around it.
Honestly, can I say something?
Yes.
I think that when you give like the success story and then explain what they did and then email that out, I find myself logging into my Weicker more frequently. When you're just talking about stuff, it doesn't really resonate.
Right. Unfortunately, I don't get the success stories. We don't get them as often as
We don't
I'd
have
like
success
to.
stories because we don't
Yeah,
have
I don't
enough
have a
people
whole lot of
using it.
success stories. I'm sure that they're out there.
But don't you
People
have those like guest meetings and you talk to those other agents who have had success stories?
Sure. Yeah, I did. I definitely, we don't, even on those calls, we don't get a whole
ones. It doesn't have to be in-house success stories.
Yeah,
It doesn't-
no. If we hear any success stories like
Yeah.
we're sharing with you right now, we're always doing it, but we don't always hear everybody, even on her calls.
Right.
They're not.
No,
it's
yeah,
not all
even
about
on
that.
Yeah, even on my MTS calls, we don't always have success stories because probably for the same reason their agents aren't sharing it with them as well. They
Right.
forget to do it, or they don't have the time to do it, or it slips out. They don't just have too many things going on themselves and don't remember.
Right.
So,
But
yeah.
also,
Absolutely. You're right.
What-
I should take more notes of those, but again, they haven't been happening all that often the last couple of weeks.
I'm getting probably 3 times a week, 20 to 30 interactions with customers just through that text message thing that I told you I did.
Mm-hmm.
Last night, I think I got 27 text messages back from customers. Now, about half of them telling me to go to hell, stop texting them, but the other half interacting and trying to get more information.
Yeah.
So that's a possibility of say 10 or 15 houses to sell.
That's awesome. And Eric, tell everybody how you got those leads into your system.
They were from Red X, and we just dumped them in, and Stephanie, finessed it so it went into the system. And literally, I have no idea what I was doing with my Weicker. So I said, let me put them on this campaign, see what happens. And I've had over the last 2.5, 3 weeks, about 60 or 70 different interactions with clients or with people.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And I do the same thing with recruits.
Yeah.
In my system, I have all my recruits in there, and I send texts and I send emails and I call, and I have a lot of engagement, so I know it works. And I'm so surprised, guys. Remember something. We're corporate headquarters. We're the flagship. Everybody looks up to us, right? Every other office, I don't know if you realize this or know this, every office looks up to us. We are like the model, right? Model office is how they see us. And so I'm surprised at these numbers because I came from a place, a brokerage that had this system and not even as good of a system that we have. So I thought just by me sharing with you for so long as it was coming up and knowing a lot more than any other manager even knew about it, that we were going to be like truly engaged. Plus I had a lot of agents like Jennifer, Mara, Kim, who had come over from there as well. And so they already were engaged with the system and were so excited that was coming. So I'm like, between that, we already have the infrastructure of people who used it, love it, know how to work it, that our office is just going to be like, it's going to be so easy, but it's just so much pushback. Like I understand change and I understand all that, but technology drives real estate, and this was a gift that was handed to you. And again, it's all in your mindset. If you think it's not going to work, or you think it's too complicated, or you think, you know, you don't need it, then that's what happened. But you see these success stories. Everybody who's using it is getting high, is so successful from it. So either you're using it or you're making excuses of why you're not using it. But every day, just like you have your Garden State MLS up on your screen, when you log into your computer in the morning, you go onto Garden State, right? Or NJMLS or whatever it is that you want up there. And all throughout the day, you're looking at it, you're looking at it, you're looking at it. You want to see what came on, what's new on, what's coming soon, right? Constantly. Your KV Core, your My Weichert should be up there too. That tab should be up there. And you should be looking at who's engaging with you, looking at what the contacts you do have in there are looking at. So you can then give them a call or text or email them right on the screen and say, hey, a new house just came on the market, because you see that they're looking at it and you saw that they looked at it 3 times. I have some time this Saturday, or have this time this Friday. How about we go take a look at it? You need to be there engaging with them. Everybody should be on a campaign. It's your own virtual assistant that you're not paying for it to keep up with your clients. Like, there is no excuse. This guy is a new agent, has 7 listings, appointments, and 3 listings over $600,000 when he has no past clients, no referrals, nothing, right? And he's just doing the work. He's just putting it in there and doing what he needs to do. I mean, that says it all right there. Yeah. When listings are so hard to come by for agents who are successful and been in the real estate business for so long, and this guy has 3 active listings.
And it's literally the time commitment. I've probably spent about 15 minutes total.
Everybody should be setting time with Stephanie. Everybody should be setting time one-on-one, virtually or not, and getting yourself up to par right now while we're still in COVID and while we're still trying to figure this whole environment out, and making sure you're getting the system up to date, because it's supposed to be there to work for you. Yes, you have to put time up front to get that done, but it's there to be working for you on your behalf so that you can go out and do the things you love to do, which is be in front of clients. That's what you all love to do. So anybody have anything? Or Stephanie, did you want to add anything else?
Yeah, I have a few actually more slides beyond that. So yeah, again, guys, I'm sorry to be kind of turn a positive into a negative, but I just wanted to show it. You know, there's really no easy way of like showing our numbers without kind of being a little embarrassed about it, because there's a little bit of a reflection on me. Wow. So, you know, I'm kind of putting myself on the line here by showing those numbers also, because a lot of it has to do with how well I'm training you guys. And how, you know, how I'm engaging with you guys. I'm not having the trainings anymore because they weren't, like Missy said, you know, we weren't having the attendance that we wanted. So I'm leaving myself 8 hours a day for one-on-one. You know, whatever you guys need, you know, I'm doing the best I can to try to be there for you. Again, I'm still navigating the system also. It's not, I wouldn't say it's the easiest thing in the world. It's not. There are a lot of moving parts. But if we break it down and we go through it, I think that even this agent, Carol, will be able to see some benefits to it. Maybe not the Facebook part of it, or maybe not the lead generation part of it, or all those things, but just the idea of keeping organized, I think is an attractive piece for it. So that being said, we have our February marketing idea. If you remember, in January, we did the lip balms for February. Thank you, Cheryl, for letting me use your photo here. I just used Cheryl as an example. Sorry, it's very hard to see on Missy's screen. It's very blurry, but our idea was that the real estate market is red hot.
That's what I was about to say that. So you need to, like, I think you should say something like that.
Sorry, I totally got distracted. So the tagline is the real estate market is red hot. I thought about maybe doing like a little thing of Tabasco sauce, or a little thing of Frank's Red Hot with a bottle tag. I mean, you'll be able to see kind of what I did when Missy sends the slides out later. And I actually vetted out a vendor that has the tags that we can just literally, a custom tag, I can set over the artwork. If you guys wanted to do that, you know, let me know, I can help you. And the investment isn't that much. Again, it's really just mostly time that you're investing, $250. Again, I just think it's a cute drop by idea. You know, we spend a lot of time trying to figure out the next great idea. You know, we kind of came up, Missy and I kind of came up with something for you. So I thought it was a really cute idea. Let me know if it's something that you want to do. We didn't have very many people ask me for the lip balms, but maybe once, you guys have a little bit more money coming in, maybe that, maybe that was what was the issue. But, let me know if you need any help with anything as far as marketing goes.
Yeah, very cute idea. I love it.
Can we use the Red Hot logo? Or is that,
Yeah, I made it. Yep, I made it. Yep.
and you don't want to copyright it and rights to it, huh?
Well, we can talk offline about that, Jeff. Yeah,
Thank
no,
you.
yeah, I just made it like impromptu, like something cute. So yeah, no, you guys could use it. I made it for you.
It's an attention getter.
Yes, it is. That's what this is all about. Just a little cute idea to get people's attention.
I couldn't find the Frank Red Hot sauces, mini ones in bulk anywhere, but maybe somebody knows. Even on Amazon, it wasn't cheap. It was still kind of expensive. So, if you wanted to do like a 10 or 15 house drop by gift, plus it's February, so if you want to really be outside, you can just buy 10 or 15 from the grocery store if you wanted to. It's just an idea. It's just, again, it could be used in a social media post or or an ad or an email marketing, whatever you guys wanted to do.
My slides are pixelated. Is anybody else having that problem?
Yeah, Missy's screen is completely and totally blurry. I don't really, there's some reason with Zoom. It's a Zoom issue.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, sorry
But
about
when
that.
Missy sends out the slides, I'm sure they won't be blurry.
Yeah, then they'll be normal for you guys.
I'm on
I
a
didn't
different-
realize that. I probably could have did something earlier or tried to change my pixels, but
If you unshare your screen and then share it again, it cleans it up.
They were fine at the beginning.
It reverted back. She did that and it reverted back to this.
Okay. And I'm just going to share with you real quickly before we I know we're running longer today, but we have a lot of stuff to discuss. But before we get to Anthony, Tabitha came in here and she said, can you share something, meaning, like we talk a lot about making phone calls and doing these things, but a lot of people, have fear of different things with phone calls and different challenges with phone calls. So she thought it might be good if we could do some type of training or some type of meeting where we all sat there and we talked about it, even if it's one-on-one. If you're not comfortable with people and you reach out to me, let's work through phone calls if that's what your if you have a hesitation with it or you have a fear of it. We all do. I mean, that's again a natural thing. So I would love to work with you all on that. I did put out there last week on my Sunday email that I want to do small group sessions of about 6 agents, accountability sessions once a week. And we would talk about things like making phone calls, and then we could, and then you're held accountable each week for what you need to do, and no one reached out to me. So I'm still really open for that. I'd love to have like 6 people, small sessions, groups to do accountability for. I think it would be awesome. So again, if you're interested in that, let me know. So Anthony, I'm sorry we saved the best for last, I'm going to say today.
So I'll try to be as brief as possible. The Fed's meeting today, so we'll get a better idea this afternoon on what their plan is for long-term rates and stuff like that. So we'll kind of keep you abreast. Based on kind of, the plan of the Fed making an announcement today, the Treasury is down a little bit. So I think that'll be good for rates. And I think that'll be, based on their announcements and what their plans are, I don't think we're going to see like any kind of knee jerk going in the direction. So we'll see what happens. But, the economic news was focused on real estate market last week. The housing starts rose again as the builders try to keep up with demand. Existing home sales were at the highest we've seen in 14 years. Bottom line is the real estate industry continued to lead the economy during the pandemic, as we are well aware. This week coming up is a big one for data, including new home sales, personal income, spending after the first reading of economic growth for the last quarter. And like I mentioned last week and this week too, rates seem to stabilize after having drifted slightly downward since the increase a few weeks ago.
So this is really about the mobile app, which, I believe everybody has on their phones now. But if you have any questions in regards to this, obviously let Anthony know. But Anthony, I just wanted to go through that part because I think, again, I want to go back to Lori's question initially at the beginning of the meeting when it comes to a buyer waiving a portion of the appraisal. how that can affect them and what the buyer needs to do in order for that to be successful for them.
Yeah, I was going to bring it up and then, piggyback off what Mara was talking about too as well. So the biggest challenge we always run into is on these low down payment deals, right? So when you have a low down payment deal, FHA, conventional 5% down conventional, the situation in Mara's worked out really well because it was a 20% down deal, right? So we deal with this all the time. When you have a larger down payment, the buyer has a lot more options where you back it down from 20 to 15, that 5% gets brought to the table or a portion of it to close that gap, assuming they're still willing to, buy the house. Maybe the seller and buyer kind of work out an arrangement as far as meeting in the middle, and there's a $15,000 delta that needs to be made up. So rather than putting 20% down, they put down 16 or 15% down, they bring that difference to closing. And then the question is, well, I don't want private mortgage insurance because that's traditional when you're less than 20% down, right? So there's so many different other options we have, and a lot of banks don't have these options. Mortgage bankers, brokers like us do, where we could do something called financed mortgage insurance. So having that, part of the monthly PMI, where that increases your payment, you actually finance the mortgage insurance at a very small amount, so much less than what you might pay over the long term. Tack it on top of the loan, so it's amortized over a 30-year period. So you're talking about like maybe it's a $20 difference payment, $30 difference payment, so it's negligible, right? But meanwhile, you didn't have to even put 20% down and you still were able to get the house. So where are these deals kind of made? It's when you have stronger down payment buyers because they have a little bit more lateral movement to not put down 20%. Where these deals fall apart or where everybody's concerns are is you have a low down payment buyer. There is no plan option. I can't reduce someone from 3% to no percent, right? Or 5% to maybe 3% if they're not a first time home buyer. So those are the kind of differences there. But we're always in the creative front regarding playing with those things. And, as you know, we've been talking yesterday, we talked on Mastermind too as well. I'm having deep, detailed conversations, as I always have, but really kind of hammering the buyers where they have a good understanding that you're probably going to lose this offer because of your current position on how you want to kind of make your offer. And like you said, agents are looking for that wish list. And hey, I really want to hear what you have to say. And it's not even about me with the financing anymore. It's more of like, I don't want to hear this. I don't want to hear this later on. I don't want to hear this during the process. If you're going to be that way, if your client seems to be that way on the front end, they're going to move on to the next offer, and it might be less. It's just who's going to make the transaction as smooth as possible. So I'm trying to educate our clients that I'm involved in on what they should be doing, not telling them what I should be doing, because people obviously have concerns. They want to have the right to get their own inspection. If they have an appraisal waiver that maybe I said that they can get a waiver on, they still want to get their own appraisal. So it's more educating them so they have the different options so they can make a right decision going forward.
Great. Anyone have any questions in regards to that?
I have a question. So let's
Dylan.
say somebody was purchasing a house for 400. They were
Yep.
putting 10% down and it appraised for 390. Basically, and I know that you could be creative and make it a little bit different. They would have to put down an extra 10% plus the 10 that they're short with the appraisal.
No, so what we could do on something like that, and again, keep in mind, this has to be agreed upon by the buyer. Let's say the seller turns back around after the buyer says, I wanted you to reduce the appraisal by 10,000 to 390 or the purchase price to 390. Seller goes, absolutely not. I'll cancel the transaction. You're buying at 390 or I'm walking. And the buyer goes, I really want the house. Anthony, Lori, what can we do? What should we do? So rather than going 10% down, what we could do is try to mitigate that other 10,000, have them just maybe put 30,000 down because that's 40,000 as far as 10%. The PMI might be slightly higher, and they would take that difference of 10,000 and apply it down at the closing for that gap of $10,000 that way. So again, that's assuming they can afford the payment. They're happy with the slightly higher payment. Keep in mind, $10,000 is $48 a month in payment. You're buying a $400,000 house. Hopefully that 48 is not going to be so detrimental that you're going to walk on the transaction. But some people, it's not what they're looking to do. But there would be an option there for me to counter them. And a lot of times people would want what from a lender? Can you get me a denial? Technically, I can't really deny your loan if you qualify for that. So you got to be really careful of that. And then I got to try to get backed into a corner and try to get creative on how to get someone out of a deal because they don't want the $48 increase payment. You know what I mean? So that's kind of, what we're trying to talking about. But as you get lower and lower with the down payment, your options become more grim, in a situation like that.
Thank you.
No problem.
But Lori, that's where having a good attorney, right, is important, because typically there'll be language in that contract that says if the house doesn't appraise, they can negotiate or either party can cancel.
I know.
Or at least you want that the buyer can
There's gonna
cancel
be
if you
20
represent the
offers
buyer.
on the house, and it's a tough agent on the other side. And if she's only going to put 10% down, I feel like they're just going to gloss right over our offer. So, look, it's not an easy time to be a buyer.
That's for sure. That
Yes.
is
Do you
for
have
sure.
reason to
Never
believe
a
that it's going to
more true word
underappraise?
spoken.
Yes.
Got it.
So can you read this, Anthony, or you want me to read the trivia question of the week? I don't know.
I can either, I have mine open on my end, or if you want to read it, whatever you want to do.
Okay, so for your over 40 clients purchasing or refinancing, approximately how much money can they save on a $300,000 mortgage by opting for a 15-year loan rather than a 30-year loan, thereby making their home part of their retirement plan? So is it A, 95,000, B, 25,000, C, 55,000, or D, 75,000?
I don't know. 55,000, I don't know.
See, 55,000?
Yeah. He doesn't really have two, and he's shaking his head no.
I can read the answer, but
But don't tell me it's 95.
It's
What is it?
95,000.
I
Yeah,
can't read the
95,000.
numbers.
95,000?
Yeah,
Wow.
big one.
Yeah, that's a real big one.
I'm doing a 15-year refinance for a client today. They only have about 2-something left on the loan, and they have about a little over 18 years left on the loan. The 4-year reduction, 3.5-year reduction, just in interest alone is saving them $37,000 in 15 years.
Anthony, what is the 15-year rate right now?
I mean, it depends on the
for
client.
for somebody
you know.
that's 750 credit score.
I mean, they're in the low twos. I mean, they're
I can
fantastic.
read it now, Missy.
What's
You
that?
can? Okay, thank you. I'm trying to figure it out.
What was that?
Someone said they can read the screen now.
Yes.
Mhm.
But, they're great. They're in the low twos.
Okay, thank you.
So anyone have any other questions for Anthony?
I'll keep you guys posted if there's any kind of major announcements with the Fed meeting today that we need to kind of be on the cautious side of.
You got it. Thank you.
This afternoon.
So we have a home on the market that is already gone. Went on Saturday. Gone, gone, gone. I don't know if Sam or Ryan are on and want to talk about their new listing at 29 Fairchild Ave in Morris Township for $545. If you are, just let me know. Mara has 23 Willow Ave in Randolph for $599,999.
Gone.
Gone. 1 Tamarack Road in Roxbury, gone. Multiple offers this weekend. Phyllis has 28 Walnut Street in Livingston for 1.850. New construction, not complete inside, and is being offered at 1.850, not complete inside. A well-known builder in the area. So reach out to Phyllis if you have any other information in regards to that. 34 Washington Ave in Parsippany for $425. Not sure if that's gone yet, but probably. I'm going to say most likely is, especially in that price point in Parsippany. Anybody have any price improvements coming soon in search of rental listings, open houses in need of an agent to sit, or an agent who wants to sit in open house this week, who can maybe assist somebody? No new listings, guys? Nothing coming on? Okay, I know we ran long today. so
Hello,
maybe-
Missy?
Yes.
Yeah, I have a new listing. It's in Montville Township. It's in Longview, 10 Lenox Court in Montville. It's a 4-bedroom, very spacious townhouse, full finished basement, walkout, in-law suite. It's I have the paperwork currently for Wykert exclusive, and then it will be on the Garden State effective February 5th, and be doing open houses then. It's currently listed a little too high at 619, but this is what the seller wanted to test the market, so I'm happy to do that. But if you have anybody, just let me know and I can give you details on that. My listing at 704 Brook Hollow Drive in Whippany at the Grand, it's $23.50 a month. It's been completely repainted now. It shows very well. And I refreshed the whole wording and pictures and everything for that listing. So if anybody has a rental client, show them 704 Brook Hollow. It is a 1-bedroom, but it's very spacious. Has the feel of a 2-bedroom. It's got the in-unit laundry and everything. So just wanted you to know about that. Thank you.
Thank you, Terry. So reach out to Terry
welcome.
Dearness if you have anyone in reference to those 2 properties. Anybody else? All right, well, remember, this year's a gift. I know it's going to be a challenging gift. I understand that. I just know that there's going to be a lot of opportunities as well. And so that's what our mindset has to be. How are we going to proactively engage all of these clients and buyers that are out there and get them into the right property. So thank you guys for attending. I will share this, and have a great, great, great day and a great rest of the week.
Bye,
Thank you, Missy.
everybody. Thank you.
Thanks, Missy.